She always packed the kids' lunches the night before. Little notes inside, "Be kind today. You're brave. I love you." Caleb liked peanut butter, Lila liked turkey, and Elena always remembered which day was which. From the outside, we were perfect. A quiet house on Maple Street in Albany. A swing set in the yard. 2 cars in the driveway. A fridge with family schedules and handprint art. I worked long hours as a field tech. Got home dusty, tired. But I was there. Every dinner. Every weekend game. Every bedtime story. Elena was a second-grade teacher. The type that baked cookies for her students and volunteered to organize holiday shows. Smart. Composed. A smile like reassurance. She had this way of making people feel safe. Even me. I used to think nothing could fracture us. We didn't fight much. Didn't yell. Our life moved in rhythms, soft, predictable. Then I saw the message. Her phone was face up on the counter. She was upstairs bathing the kids. The notification lit up. From Jason, work. Miss that smile today, winky face. Just a sentence. A wink. But it hit like a punch. I stared at it too long. Memorized the emoji. The way he said today, like it wasn't the first time. When she came down, I asked. Not with anger. Just confusion. Elena, who's Jason? She didn't even flinch. Jason? Oh. He's from school. It's nothing. That message dash. She laughed. Oh my God, Travis. It was a joke. You're seriously getting upset over an emoji. I'm just asking. She rolled her eyes. You're being ridiculous. Don't be one of those husbands who tracks everything. That's not us. I nodded. Let it drop. But something had changed. The next day, her phone had a passcode. The nights stretched later. She was tired all the time. No more notes in the lunch boxes. No more kisses goodbye. Just silence where warmth used to live. I told myself not to spiral. That people get busy. That marriages ebb and flow. That Elena, the woman I built this life with, wouldn't lie. But the silence grew. She started showering before bed instead of in the morning. She left her phone in her purse. She smiled less. Looked away more. One night, I woke up at 2 a.m. and she wasn't beside me. Found her in the kitchen, lights off, scrolling. She said she couldn't sleep. I didn't ask what she was looking at. I didn't want the answer. I became the detective I never wanted to be. Watching, waiting, guessing. I wasn't proud. But something in me refused to believe everything was fine. I checked the calendar. She had 2 staff training weekends coming up. 2 nights in Atlanta. Not unusual, but now they felt loaded. I searched her drawers one night when she took the kids to the park. Found nothing. Felt ashamed. The guilt twisted into silence. I stopped asking. She stopped explaining. The days went on like a slow unraveling. Smiles became short. Touch disappeared. Dinners turned quiet. One night, she said, "We're just tired. We'll be okay." But her eyes said, "You're losing me." I didn't know then that she wasn't just slipping away. She was planning her exit. It was a Tuesday when I followed her. Not out of rage. Not even desperation. Just silence. She said she was heading to a curriculum planning meeting across town. I waited 10 minutes, then got in the car. She didn't go to the district office. She drove west, past the highway, into a residential neighborhood I'd never seen before. Parked in front of a 2-story rental with a blue mailbox. She didn't knock. She used a key. I sat there for an hour. Then drove home. Didn't say a word when she walked through the door 3 hours later. That night, after the kids fell asleep, I asked her one question. "Is there something you haven't told me?" She looked at me, almost bored. "If you think something happened, then it did." I wanted her to lie better. I wanted her to beg. Instead, she stood. Poured herself tea. Walked away. 2 days later, they were gone. I came home to an empty house. Their clothes missing. Toothbrushes gone. Photo frames stripped from the hallway. No note. No custody filing. Just silence so loud I thought it might kill me. I called Elena's phone. Disconnected. Called her sister. "She's probably just overwhelmed," she said. I filed a missing persons report that night. The officer nodded, took the details. Said it was probably temporary. "She's the mother," he reminded me. "She can leave." I kept my cool. But my heart was chaos. I called everyone. Her parents. Her co-workers. Her best friend from college. No one had seen her. Days passed. Then weeks. The detective assigned to the case stopped returning calls. Said there was no evidence of foul play. I hired a private investigator. She found a gas receipt in Tallahassee. Nothing else. A local news station ran a segment, "Father Seeks Missing Family." I became a face. A story. A cautionary tale. And still, nothing. Some people believed me. Most didn't. Rumors started. That I was controlling. That I pushed her away. That maybe I had something to hide. The worst part wasn't the doubt. It was the slow decay of memory. The sound of my daughter's laugh growing faint. The way my son said goodnight, "Dad," like it meant something. I stopped sleeping. Started pacing. I went to the park alone and sat on their favorite bench. I whispered their names to the wind. And I wondered. Was it because I asked too many questions? Or because I didn't ask soon enough? 4 years passed. No new leads. No sightings. No updates. Just time stretching, silent, cruel. Until one August morning, I got a call. A property caretaker in northern Florida had reported a strange smell coming from a rundown cabin near the state border. The structure had been abandoned for years until recently. Inside, they found mattresses on the floor. Empty food cans. Crayon drawings taped to the wall. A worn-out teddy bear. and in the top drawer of a broken dresser, a photograph. Elena. Caleb. Lila. Taken weeks ago. She was alive. They all were. They picked her up in a grocery store parking lot 2 towns away. She was using a different name. Fake license. Cash-only lifestyle. When questioned, she didn't resist. Didn't cry. Just asked, "Are they okay?" The kids were found in a rented trailer. Safe. Quiet. A bit thin. But healthy. When I got the call, I drove 6 hours without stopping. My hands shook the whole way. I didn't know what to expect. They let me see them at the Family Services Center. Caleb sat stiff on a couch. Lila clutched a stuffed rabbit. When I walked in, they didn't run to me. They stared. Lila whispered something to her brother. Caleb said, "That's him. Not Dad. Just him." I broke inside. The counselor said it would take time. That they had questions. Confusion. That Elena told them stories. I didn't ask what kind. A court hearing followed. Elena was charged with custodial interference, identity fraud, and unlawful relocation of minors. Her attorney claimed mental health issues. Fear. Isolation. The judge granted me supervised visits. Caleb barely spoke. Lila drew pictures and gave them to the counselor. None of them had me in them. I brought board games. Books. They're old stuffed animals I had kept. Little by little, cracks opened. One day, Lila sat beside me and asked, "Did you miss us?" I couldn't speak. I nodded. She nodded back. That was enough. 3 months later, I got joint custody. Elena was sentenced. A reduced term, but still time. I drove the kids to school. Learned their routines. Their favorite snacks. Their new fears. But they still didn't call me Dad. They called me Travis. And I never corrected them. Because I knew the damage wasn't something I could fix with bedtime stories. I had them back. But not the way they were. And maybe never again the way they were. The court order says I get them on weekends and alternate holidays. So I show up. Every time. Early. I take them to the park. To school concerts. I cook their favorite meals, even when they don't eat much. I help with homework they don't want help with. Some nights they stay over, Lila still clutching that rabbit. Caleb barely looks up from his phone. But they're here. And I've learned not to ask for more. We exist in a new rhythm. Half sentences. Shared silence. Mutual hesitance. I don't talk about the past. I let them come to me, inch by inch. And when they do, when Caleb asks for advice on a school project, or Lila curls up beside me during a movie, I hold onto it. Quietly. Gratefully. Elena served her sentence. She didn't reach out. I didn't expect her to. Sometimes I wonder if she ever tells her side of the story. If, somewhere, there's a version where I'm the villain. The mistake. The reason she ran. But I don't chase those thoughts. I let them pass like trains I refuse to board. My therapist once asked if I forgave her. I said I don't think forgiveness is the point. There's no clean ending. No one gets applause. There's only what's left when the wreckage settles. I recorded a voice memo once. Never sent it. Never even played it back. Just needed to say it out loud. She didn't just leave me. She took our past, our present, and the future we were supposed to have. That memo sits on my phone. Untitled. Sometimes I think about deleting it. But then I remember it's the truest thing I've ever said. This isn't a tragedy with a climax. Or a happy ending. It's a long hallway. Quiet. Half lit. And me still walking. Still here. Travis's family was taken in silence. But for Melanie, the destruction came in flames. She thought her husband's betrayal ended with an affair. But when she confronted him, he did the unthinkable. He set their house on fire. To erase his tracks. To bury the truth. To silence her forever. But what he didn't know was that a single voice recorder, buried beneath the ashes, survived. And inside it, a story so damning, it would do what the fire failed to do: bring everything to light. In the next episode of 10 True Affair Stories from Georgia, betrayal turns to arson, and justice rises from ash. Next, Melanie from Gainesville, he burned their house down to hide the truth.